Hey everybody, Paul Acevedo, EastX Twitch here from Windows Central. Tonight we are streaming Riptide GP2 from Vector Unit. Vector Unit is the studio best known for developing tons and tons of aquatic racing games. They also have a beach buggy game though. Probably a few others that aren't in the water. With me on mic tonight is Brian.
Hey everybody.
Yeah, and Tyler is here in chat, he's just not on voice chat. So let's hop into career and we'll get everybody caught up to speed. I believe I took last weekend off, didn't I?
Yeah, Tyler streamed.
What was he streaming?
Vector 2X.
Velocity 2X.
Velocity
There you
2X,
go.
that's what it was. I knew it started with a V.
And
that was close.
yeah, it was. And plus we were talking about Vector Unit, so it's easy to get mixed up. Tyler says he's a little hoarse tonight or something. He was, as I understand it, last night he went to a male strip club, you know, where you watch the guys, and he just, you know, he just shouted himself hoarse. These things happen.
Boy. All your secrets are coming out, Tyler.
And by the way, there is nothing wrong with that. He can like whatever kind of stripping he wants.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it.
That was something that came up during my recent trip, which we'll talk about later. Is, you know, like, I wonder if, I hope it's okay to just like imply that people might like the same gender as themselves without it being automatically an insult. Do you think it's probably, I don't know, this is something I'm trying to deal with.
We'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
Because, yeah, I mean, like, I want to use it as a joke, but not have it be mean. You know, like, I really like how people react because it's always some kind of funny reaction, you know? Unless they were like a true homophobe, and then they'd probably get nasty about it. But I don't know, I mean, Tyler takes it in stride. Then again, you know, if somebody, you know, like if Two Front or somebody was around, maybe they could be like, no, Paul, it's just not cool. And then I would have to learn and accept that.
I have several gay friends, and none of them really care.
Good to hear.
But it's up to each person, so.
That makes sense. There is when you go over a ramp, you're encouraged to do a trick. And doing so will get you, it'll fill up your boost meter at the top. Top center is the boost meter. Boost system's a little bit complicated because you're not supposed to, like, you're supposed to cycle through every single kind of stunt before you repeat a stunt. Otherwise, you get less boost from the stunts. And, like, in the heat of things, or when I'm talking on mic, for instance, I can't really remember which stunts I've already done. So,
yeah, I could see that being difficult, especially if it gets difficult later on.
Yep.
Hey, MTA.
Oh, Rails, glad you made it.
He's in the Windows Central chat.
As long as he's here. Rails wished me well when I was off on my trip, I believe. Ooh, I just leveled up. There's a leveling system, kind of like first-person shooters. Ooh, skill point. Yes, I wish to learn a skill. CMU, I highly recommend Unstream. Like, everybody has their things of preference, but trust me that Unstream has features that none of the other ones have. Like, there's just no contest between Unstream and Hstream. Alright, do I upgrade? You can upgrade individual stunts or just your boost meter in general, and that looks like it. What do you think, boost? Probably? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say boost. Unless there's a handling.
There is not, but you can also buy new water boat things.
Well, then I'd just say boost.
Okay. Owned! And that's all I got. Let's go back to the race. Cool. Our man Tyler has streamed this before. Or, well, he's reviewed it before at least. I did.
He streamed it,
Right,
too.
right. That's right. You helped him out.
Yep.
Brian's a good helper, everybody.
Oh, totally.
You know, talking loud like this, I sound like my son whenever he's on mic, because for some reason he automatically projects really loud, and we have to be like, hey, not so loud, boy.
Kind of yells at it.
And, like, it's usually not necessary, you know? So what do you think of how the game looks visually for a console game?
The textures are all a little flat.
Certainly. But the water's pretty good, right?
If I remember right, this is a mobile game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you can get this on Windows Phone. It's one of the few games that we have an Xbox One link and a Windows Phone link for the same game in the article, I am not used to that.
Yeah, it's a little different. I wonder... See, this is the scenario I think that Microsoft wants with Windows 10, is a developer to make a game and have it on all three of their platforms.
That...
Xbox, PC, and Windows Phone.
That would be fantastic. We're not sure that they are really truly going to fully do that yet. It sounds like it's on a case-by-case basis, kind of like Pinball FX 2. And, I mean, it's cool that we can do that on Pinball FX 2, but it is BS that they have to apply for permission and all that crap. It just needs to be built in. Automatically in the system, check the box, it's cross-platform.
It's not a universal purchase, Icky. That's what Paul
and keep in mind,
talking about.
I mean, between Windows Phone and what's the other thing? Tablet and PC, it is a universal purchase, But Xbox One is just not on that same universal account system yet. We're probably a year or two away from that, in my opinion. Okay.
It's back up now, but it
came in second. The
bit.
first race is pretty hard.
They're in the middle of switching between Flash video and player to HTML5, so there might be some bugs.
HTML5 is the good stuff.
Flash is literally the devil. I hate Flash.
It's so bad, and yet it used to be the best thing ever. It's funny how things change, isn't it?
Yes.
Without Flash, there would be no Homestar Runner, and where would we be?
Well, that's true, I suppose. It had its place 15 years ago.
Yeah, UFC Night, I'm sure with a few games it'll happen, but again, it's not meaningful unless it's the entire ecosystem like how Sony does it. Like, Sony actually has this one thing right, and Microsoft still hasn't quite caught up yet, unfortunately. No one else on the track. Oh, here's a different kind of race. Hot lap. Get the fastest time possible on a single lap. Alright, fine, whatever. We'll do it. Colors are really murky on this particular track, which, in my opinion, makes it look uglier than the other ones. You don't have to hold boost once you've activated it, it just automatically depletes the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the bummer about it, is once you hit it, you gotta use it all. So don't do it in the middle of a bunch of
it'd actually be better if you could just
yell
use
at
it
this.
now, as much as you want and not the whole thing. In Hydro Thunder, isn't it just hold it to use it? I bet it is.
I have not played a jet ski type racing game.
Oh, for shame. It's on Windows 8 and 10. And it's really good. Although the 360 version is still better. Well, then again, I think you get the 360 paid DLC automatically with the Windows version.
My backlog's already a couple hundred games deep, so...
Dude, I love me some water racing. Like, this is really, really fun. Like, obviously, visually, it could be better, and the track design is, kind of boring compared to Hydro Thunder, but it's still quite fun.
True, as a mobile game, this is
because it's a weird thing. Like, you have to remember, this is a mobile game. It's $3 on Windows Phone, and how does it compare to other Windows Phone games? It's just incredible. There is no competition. Yeah, I still have a lot to go on the Windows version of Hydro Thunder. I mentioned it in my top arcade games for Windows article. Big turbine thing in this level. Yeah, what this game needs is more dinosaurs and stuff. Hydro Thunder has one where frost giants from Norse mythology are like smashing things. That one's pretty exciting. But this is still cool. I did the can because I can. Spaceships on a track? Are we talking to... What game is he thinking of? I reviewed a game like that I really didn't like. Do you remember that? What was it? Like a Spectra 8-bit Racing.
Oh yes. The procedurally generated.
Yeah, not even truly a racing game, because you're not racing against anyone else. It's more like time trials, but I don't know. It still somewhat falls within the genre. But boy, I was disappointed by Spectra. I just cannot remember to cycle through all the tricks. Maybe when I'm playing single player.
Well, just do, left, right, up
But
and
there's
down.
more than that. There's like 8 tricks. There's like up on one stick and down on the other, because you use both analog sticks to do them. Oops, and I missed that.
Oh, gotcha.
I remember when this first came out, somebody was talking about how it's actually faster just to ignore the ramps. I don't know if that's actually true or not. If anybody here has played this a lot, let us know. If so, that's a small design issue, but it's probably not a huge deal. My question, Tyler, was whether it is faster to ignore the ramps, because as I understand it, you're losing speed when you go on the ramps. So you can earn more money by going to these harder courses. Let's see how hard they are. By the way, there's a total of 14 tracks, but there's a lot more single-player races than that, because they make you race them different ways, etc. Oh, this is elimination. Well, thank you, Tyler. Appreciate the input. Mr. Tyler Know-It-All thinks he knows everything.
But what if he does?
You know, I never owned an N64, and I seldom regretted that because I didn't like how the games looked. But the one game that I always really regretted not having was Wave Race 64. Because at the time, that game was amazing. I didn't play the N64 version of Hydro Thunder, so I'm not sure how they compare. But Wave Race 64 definitely had some very impressive water effects. And obviously this game is on par with that. Although we've had other games do the same thing, so it's not as flabbergasting anymore. How we doing? How we doing? I'm in third. It's good enough.
As long as you're not the last man.
Yeah, 1080 snowboarding looked fun as well. Oh crap. I've been eliminated. Yeah, the difficulty on this game is a little too high. I'm just going to say that. I mean, it should be gradual, you know? It's like the first races you should have no trouble cleaning up. We're going to try that again. And then it should get harder as you go along as you're actually getting better at the game. Is how I would prefer it, but I'm sure, I mean, you know, they just want you to practice the tracks and get better at them each time. Probably could, it wouldn't hurt for me to learn to brake. Although, you know, in arcade-style racing games, do you really want to brake very much? I know I don't. Whee!
I think 1080 snowboarding is on the Virtual Console. For
Hey,
the
that's
Wii U.
something. It's
so.
one of the 6 N64 games on the Wii U Virtual Console?
Yeah,
Ooh,
I think so.
Fancy.
Oh, apparently Tyler's telling you need to upgrade your hydrojet.
You're probably right, Tyler. Alright, we'll go do that after this race. Yeah, I'm probably making it harder on myself. There was a sign for Shine Runner, which is another water racing game from the same developer. Not on Xbox One, but it is on Windows platforms. Get ahead of that guy. What'd be really cool is if you could do 2 tricks while you're in the air instead of just one. You think that's possible? God, the dude just shot ahead of me. Get out of my face. I'm in 3rd place now, so I think that means I at least get a star. He gets an A for effort, ladies and gentlemen.
Ow.
Yep, eliminated. Bring it on. I can take it. Oh, I took it. On other platforms, including, I think, even the mobile Windows versions, it is online multiplayer. The Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions, unfortunately, do not have online multiplayer, which is a strike against them, unfortunately.
That seems weird. I wonder why they wouldn't do that.
It might be kind of a cost thing. This is a $7 game, right? And maybe it was, you know, just like a lot of effort to get it ported in the first place. I don't know. But it does have local split screen, and we're going to show that off in a little bit. Double front flip. I guess I will. Yeah, you can learn new tricks, too. That's what I'm discovering. So I guess I better learn one of them. What do I have highlighted? Oh, there we go. Alright. The UI for selecting a trick and then buying it, it's a little janky. You can't quite tell if you have it selected or not.
Wow, the contest participation is non-existent here.
Are you serious?
There we go.
But no, Tyler only is just starting it.
It took him a while to realize it.
Alright. Okay, upgrade my ride. Yes, fine, I'll upgrade it. Should I buy a new one or actually upgrade it? I probably can't afford a new one yet, can I?
Won't know till you look.
25,000. No, that's going to be a while. I'm going to have to upgrade.
Ooh, pricey.
Yeah. And it's one of those situations where you're putting money into the crappy one, and then you're keeping yourself from being able to buy those nicer ones? Let's see.
Well, the problem is until you buy or until you upgrade the one you have, you can't win enough money to buy the nice
Yep.
one.
And again, when you pick something, it doesn't change color or really show you that you've picked it. You just pick it, nothing happens, then you push up and push to buy it. I think that's a legacy thing from it being a mobile game, but not intuitive.
How do you mean?
Like, okay, let me see. What am I going to buy? I'm going to buy a new acceleration. So right now I push A on acceleration. Acceleration didn't like change green or something to show that it's currently highlighted, and the cursor did not jump to buy. So I've pushed A on acceleration, but now I just have to hit up on the analog stick to highlight buy and push buy.
Oh, I see. Because they're used to having
Yeah.
a touch screen. Gotcha.
All right, I am well upgraded now, so perhaps that will help me win some races. Let's try that very first race again that I couldn't win before.
Oh, apparently you only buy a couple different hydrojets throughout the game. It's more about upgrading the one you have.
CMU raises a good point, and that's that Vector Unit also made beach buggy racing on Xbox One. And by the way, we'll be streaming that in the future. They've already approved that. So a few months down the line, we'll come back to it. We'll see how they handle land racing. Alright, am I a heck of a lot faster now? I am kind of shooting forward more in the pack. I like that. You probably can't hear the music, but it's pretty generic techno. Give me the music from Spectra 8-Bit Racing and the game from this, and we'll be perfect. Yeah, Beach Buggy also does not have online multiplayer. That's something they need to get around to adding. There is a mode where you race against your friend's ghosts. Just like Hydro, Thunder, Hurricane on Windows, there is the ghost mode. Although it's a little bit uneven racing against other players' ghosts because like they could have a totally different boat than you have, or just a lot more upgrades, so there's no way to even it out and make it fair. And I think you don't want very much imbalance between the characters or the boats or whatever. I should have paid attention to how to activate that trick that I bought, because I did it. I am in first place. Yes, those upgrades made a big difference. Word. Thanks for the advice, T-Dog. Alright, let's go to this Night Falls track. Light cycle, what's all this about Superman? So here we are. This one is definitely in the future, suspended in the air and stuff. Pretty cool looking. Forward and backward flips when you... Okay. You okay, Brian? Alright.
Yep. Sorry, my wife was asking me a question.
Tell her I said hi.
Also hi. She's over there playing WoW, probably. That or Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, crap. I just tried to...
Oh, did you just
man,
whiff?
I wiped out.
Oh.
That's what not to do. I should be like the dude from Get Smart. I meant to do that.
Ooh. I finally saw the wipe out there. That was pretty rough.
Story of my life. Truly the story of my life. Dang it, camera's not centered. Yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust the camera. Sorry, some things got nudged around a little bit while I was gone. One thing that happened while I was gone, you know, you guys, sometimes I play with a wired Xbox One. Oh man, I'm playing really bad right now. Sometimes I play with a wired controller, called the Spectra, as a matter of fact, like that crappy racing game. From, who makes it? PowerA, the company that makes the Moga controllers. Oh boy, yeah, I messed that up real bad. Let's try again. Anyway, while I was gone, my very naughty cat chewed through the cable and ruined that $50 controller. So I'm not happy with him. So So I had to go out and buy a second controller because I got to have 2 controllers specifically for this Xbox, right? So I can do multiplayer things when I need to. So now I've got the Special Forces controller, which is a camo pattern, but compared to other camo patterns, I think it's a lot less ugly. In fact, PlayStation 4 has a digital gray camo pattern, and this one, in my opinion, is much nicer. Oh, land. Ah! Alright, we survived. And the good thing about this one is that it has the built-in headset jack. So my first controller with the built-in headset, and that does mean that it has the improved bumper buttons. Because the headset jack controller, they fix the bumpers a little.
Yeah, the new controllers, the bumpers are supposed to be much better. I don't play my Xbox One that much, and the bumpers are already starting to wear out on mine.
You need to show that thing some love.
Maybe that's the problem?
No, I mean, they're designed poorly, and like there'll be people, I know people who say there's nothing wrong with them, but I honestly think they just don't know enough about controllers. No disrespect to them. 3rd place, good enough for me.
Hey. The software headset controls for the Xbox One, how do you go about adjusting, like, mute and turning the volume up and down?
In software?
Yeah, if you don't have the adapter that has the buttons on it for the Xbox One, there's a way to adjust the audio levels. But I don't think you can do it in the middle of a game, if I remember right. You have to set it and leave it there.
Maybe not. Surreal has the blue camo controller, which is also a very nice looking controller. I was tempted to get that when it came out.
I really want the Spartan Lock Halo 5 controller.
It's nice looking.
It's my favorite color blue. so nice.
Sweet. Here we've got a nice ice track, pretty cool looking. It's got the big turbine thing. I think they reused that in multiple tracks, it looks like. Yeah, one reason that not everyone notices the bumper issues is because, a lot of games don't really require precision bumper controls. Like, you might use them a little bit for reloading or something, but you don't need them a lot. But it's when you play games like Killer Instinct, where you actually do rely on them, that they can let you down to a minor extent. 4th place, that's not so bad. I think I do need to go buy another upgrade if I can afford it. I probably can't. So I really want to talk about my trip, but this is requiring a lot of concentration. In case you didn't know, last weekend the reason I took off is because I was in Latvia, which is a country in Europe just next to Russia.
Don't let him fool you. He was down at the strip club.
Well, there may have been some stripping involved. No. Yeah, I went there.
I don't want to know what you had to do to pay for your trip, Paul.
Man, my knees are still sore. No.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy is what I think about that trip, though. It was incredible. 2nd place, that's not so bad.
It's good money.
Oh, neat. So they're working on a sequel to this. That's good to hear. Dang. Yeah, Surreal, I don't know what you could do about that squeak other than disassembling the controller and maybe, like, wiping everything down. Yeah, let's learn a new skill.
I don't want to know why you need to take your controller apart and wipe everything down. That just doesn't sound right.
In chat, he's saying that it squeaks. Yeah,
I'm kidding, I know.
Yes, I took hundreds of photos. I still need to go through them. Like when you take photos, you should always take more than one of the same subject in case your focus is bad or people blink and things. So I have to go through and look at all the duplicates and stuff. And once I get them all fixed up, then I'll put them on Facebook in a public album and I'll share it with everybody. So at least by next weekend, we'll have that taken care of. I already have just a few on Facebook, so if you're already a Facebook friend with me, then you can look at a few of them. But yeah, Riga, the city, it's the capital city of Latvia. It's probably the most beautiful place I've been in my life. Like, that place is gorgeous. And if you guys knew about Riga and Latvia, which nobody does, right? Because you just don't hear about it a lot here in America. But if you knew about it, like, it would be on your list of tourist destinations because there was so much beauty and incredible things there, and almost everyone spoke at least some level of English. So a very visitable place. Higher level stunts take more time to pull off.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I can't. God, I wish we could just sit here and talk about it. But one thing I'll tell you, you know, like the game inside Office was very nice. Ah! Oh crap, that stunt did not work out. Oh, I need to restart the race.
Mm-mm.
I really want to pull it off though.
I used to use the Windows Phone zombie
yes,
Gator, but
oh sorry.
they haven't put a new one out in
No,
a long
they haven't.
time. So,
I'm waiting for that 950 XL.
man, you just ran yourself over
Yeah,
with,
it was terrible.
with your bike.
Icky asks whether or not the women were beautiful, and yes, they obviously were. You know, it is very close to Russia, so you get that thing where lots of women had jobs, but I think the career options are a little bit limited. So one thing is that they try to take care of themselves to be very marriageable, I guess is the word. And that's a thing in that part of the world. But also, you know, the weather was really, really nice, and it does get cold there sometimes. It wasn't cold while we were there. But so people can walk around a lot, you know, and it's so people take better care of themselves. Not a lot of obesity, not compared to Texas, that's for sure.
I was reading an interesting article on that.
What did it say?
That a lot of Western Europeans have this weird genetic mutation that actually causes their body to store more
What?
energy, even when they don't need it. And if they actually turn off this gene that's mutated, people start losing weight like crazy.
Man.
Well, mice start losing weight like crazy, but people have the same gene.
Huh. Gonna go get some upgrades. Well, remind me to look into that. No. Let's see, I'm gonna go try to upgrade my thing. Yep, I've got 9,000. That's enough for something. Oh, I need to paint my car too. Let's see. Yellow. Yellow and red. Yeah, yellow and red. Save. That's supposed to be an achievement. There it goes.
Ah,
Call me Picasso.
give it a few years on that the skinny pills. They'll have one.
Certainly hope so.
But because a lot of Americans come from Western European descent, we have a lot of that sort of problem.
Interesting.
And people also eat badly here, so
Yeah,
it's compounded.
like we do. We eat real badly. Although, I mean, over there, the places I went, people were not eating like what you would think of as low-fat foods. Like the burgers, they all have bacon on them. They're all huge and greasy. I mean, then again, those are like sit-down restaurants. Fast food was pretty much the same as what you get here. I don't know. A lot less fast food places, at least in the city I was in. There's still, I did see a McDonald's, I did see a Subway, Baskin Robbins. So we saw about 4 different games there while we were there at Game Insight. You know, Game Insight, a little bit lesser known. God, I still messed up the race. Alright. Yeah, not everybody realizes, but Game Insight, at least in their part of the world, is a pretty big player. And for the city building genre, which again is not most of our favorite genres, right? Like, it's very much a casual genre. But yeah, they're pretty important to that genre also. Like, they've created some innovations and stuff. And we looked at, one of the things we looked at is the next Cloud Raiders update. Are you familiar with Cloud Raiders, Brian?
I am not.
Well, it is a Clash of Clans clone. It's Game Insight's take on that genre. And for one thing, it already was pretty special because... What the heck? I don't know what just happened. Oh crap, that was not fair. I got, like, knocked off the track. Cloud Raiders is fully cross-platform multiplayer between Windows Phone, Android, Windows 8 and 10, and iOS. And yeah, no other game in that genre is, so that's a pretty big deal already. You just get one account, you can hop between all your different devices, switch devices, you know, whatever, and still play with all the same people, be in the same clan. It has real-time chat. So it's a cool game anyway, and yeah, they showed us the next update to that, and they showed us something else that has to do with Cloud Raiders, which I'm very excited about, but can't talk about because it's embargoed. Ah!
Hmm. Always the best kind of inside story.
Yeah, man, embargoes. They're a killer. But when we get to reveal that, it's going to be really cool, and they give me some good videos to go along with the stuff I'm talking about. And what else? We saw a game called X-Mercs, which is like their take on XCOM. That's going to be a free-to-play game. And yeah, if you like XCOM, being able to play it, basically a very faithful version of it, or a game that's so much like it, on the go, is pretty cool. And it's very well suited to touch controls and stuff. And a funny thing about that is that the female character designs in the game, you know, like when you go back to your base and stuff, the ladies, you know, I mean, like a lot of the characters you have to deal with are ladies, you know, like they have a character for upgrades and a character for story stuff, etc. You know, like a lot of mobile games. And the ladies, they're just kind of, you know, the way they dress is not how real women would dress, is what I would say. You know, they're designed for the male gaze. And so that was something that we try to convey to them, is that it's maybe like they could be a little more approachable if they put more clothes on the ladies. And so hopefully that point makes it across. You know, like culturally, I don't think it is very weird to them to make a game that is just only for guys, period. You know, like whereas here in America, we would say, well, don't you want women to be able to enjoy your game too? Or don't you want gay people to be able to enjoy your game too? Over there, it's not something they would automatically think about.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that, half the gaming population in the world is women.
Yes, they're just often they're not playing the same games as us dudes, right? Because many games are not made to
Mm,
appeal to them. So
yeah,
some games, you know, like you have female gamers who like Halo or Gears of War or whatever, but they're not the main demographic for those games at all. You know, like female gamers, they play a lot of hidden object games, they play city builders, they play RPGs. You know, they play things that are more likely to appeal to them in general. But
come on now.
it's
Those
not necessarily.
stereotypes.
It's factual demographic evidence. You know, like this is, you know, like it's things that they trust me. Like if you go to Build or any kind of thing where developers talk about their audiences and things, like, you know, they have all that information available to them. It doesn't mean that no women like that. You know, like you have lots of women who like fighting games. You know, but comparatively, I would bet
True.
that it's like at most 20% of women playing fighting games. You know, like that's just how it shakes out to. But there's reasons for that, you know, and it's not just the gameplay. A lot of it is the imagery. You know, like so if a woman plays a game and all the women are dressed like sluts, and the woman is like, well, I don't really, I wouldn't dress like that. You know, like that's gonna turn her off a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. That, you know, again, not every developers from other cultures. We talk about that kind of thing a lot in our North American culture, but developers from other cultures, it's not something they're always exposed to. So I hope that me and the other journalists there, because like we all kind of agreed upon it. You know, like I was the one who brought it up. You know, Mr. Political Correctness. But again, it's because, you know, I have a daughter. You know, my girlfriend plays games. So I think about them, and I want them to be able to enjoy the same kind of games I do, you know, or to have the same opportunities to enjoy them that I do. Here we go. But yeah, like all of us pretty much came around to agree on that, and we, you know, we got to hang out with the developers a lot. Like we hung out with them so much, more than, like at a convention, when I go to E3 or something, at E3, I thought it was a big thing that I got to hang out with the makers of Elite Dangerous. How we all went to dinner and you know, and got drinks and stuff. But like at this, dude, it was like every day we got to hang out with them, and it was, yeah, it was
Cool.
so neat. Like we went to so many bars. The This is the best thing. The night before I had to fly out, my flight was at 7:30 in the morning. So I had to leave. I had to be ready for the taxi at 5:30 in the morning, right? And we're leaving a restaurant at like 11 p.m. We're getting ready just to go back to the hotel and go to bed, and that's enough to get a few hours of sleep. Boy, I need more money. Um, but but then one of the journalists in our group, she's a photojournalist, I should say. She's not a writer, but she suggested that we just go to another bar. We're like, let's find another bar that's open, and so we did. Then we went to this pub called the Kiwi Bar, and yep, that's what I'm doing. Thank you for the tip that told me to do exactly what I was already doing. That's much appreciated. Anyway, so we went to that bar and we hung out there for 1 or 2 hours, and then we went to another bar, dude. Like we kept bar hopping, and I did not get back to the hotel until 3 in the morning.
Living up to that Eastern European reputation.
Oh yes,
there.
and so that's like, this was our journalists and a bunch of the programmers from the developer, you know, and like the programmers were so cool, and you know, like they weren't to us, I don't know, like they were so gracious to us, and they were just really cool people, and just the whole experience to me, you know, it must be like what it's like to work in an office of cool people, because you know, like I don't work in an office, I work remotely for Windows Central, right? And unfortunately, I don't have very many local friends, and the ones that I do are really busy, so we hardly see each other. So, you know, like getting to hang around with a bunch of like-minded people for several days in a row, that was just great.
Twitch needs to find a way to unify some chats here.
Oh man, there's a lot of things they could do better. Like, why can't they make it where we can share to multiple YouTube channels? Why can you only have one connected at a time?
Well, I was nice
Yep.
out. I was
That trick is hard to pull off.
reading an article where somebody was complaining about their, top 5
On Kotaku,
biggest
yeah.
issues with Twitch. Yeah, on Kotaku, I think that's where it was. And the chat was absolutely number one, and I totally agree with them. Especially if you get like a stream that has 700 or 800 people in it, it's just completely
Madness, right? Yeah.
unusable, and I just close it. It's just, why bother? It's like being in a chat room in 1995 with 100 people. It's pointless.
No. Boy, this requires a lot of grinding.
You gotta work up that money, Paul.
I guess I do. How much do I have? Oh, but I leveled up, so I can unlock a new trick that I won't remember while streaming.
It does look pretty decent. It's a port of a mobile game, so you'll notice a lot of the textures are a little flat looking. The biggest one you'll notice is the audience. Just looks like somebody stuck up a sheet of paper with sort of vague person-like shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But, can't fault it.
I mean, one thing that excuses it somewhat is that this does have great split screen support, so I could see why they would want to keep it visually kind of simple, because for split screen it works better. Although split screen still does look significantly weaker, I would say, which we'll see in a minute.
What I don't understand is like the jet ski itself, the textures are very good. They look pretty high res, but if you look at the backgrounds, it looks like they just took the textures they had from the mobile game and said, that'll be good enough.
I guess, maybe they only had a certain number of resources to devote to improving it. I'm going to go do a ghost race. Yeah, ghost race. So this is VR challenge. This is just racing against your friend's ghosts. I only have one friend on this. He's probably going to kick my butt.
6 people split screen?
Yeah,
Famicor?
that's correct.
I didn't know you could have 6 Xbox One controllers.
You can. I don't know what the hard limit on controller numbers is. It's probably 8.
It's probably 8, just like the Xbox.
I thought the 360 could only do 4.
No, it can do, yeah, I think it can do 8.
Might be right. PS3 definitely could do 8. Woo, I actually landed that hard trick. Woo! Currently beating the ghost, but I know I'm going to mess this up. I feel doomed.
4 on the 360 is what Cecil's saying. I thought it was more. Maybe I'm thinking of PS3.
I think you are, because the 360 controllers have that built-in indicator, and you only have 4 quadrants.
But if... I don't know. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe it's when you connect one of them to your PC that you can add more.
I don't know.
I don't remember. Oh,
Well, sports games, Icky, like FIFA supports 8 players, I think. On some platforms. But yeah, Bomberman is a game that naturally would support 8 players. It's only 4 player, though, on the consoles. On the newer ones, I mean. Well, not newer ones, because there is no Xbox One Bomberman, thanks to Konami.
ooh, what happened there? Yep84 says his Xbox One's with Microsoft.
Aw, sorry to hear that, yep. Well, I mean, at least he's getting it fixed. Dang, I started out ahead,
True.
but this dude is kicking my butt. Racing against Ghosts just makes me feel bad, man.
Your Ghost or somebody else's?
Someone else's. 'Cause they're always
Oh,
better.
okay. Well, I mean, do they have a more upgraded cycle?
Yeah, how do I know? Again, that's
jet
the
speed?
problem. It doesn't tell you, and it doesn't balance things out. I only got 125 for that, so it was a waste. That's why none of my friends are ranked on this, because it's just a waste of your time compared to playing campaign. I think we should show off a little split screen. Let me get my nephew over here. Here we are. We're going to look at split screen, 2-player split screen on Riptide GP2. Here's the selection. Now, it's great that this game has split screen support, you guys, but it does have significant design issues, which we'll talk about after we start the race. But here you can see this is the split screen menu. Pick between 2 and 6 players. We're picking 2-player. Unlike other multiplayer Xbox One games, you do not have to sign in the other person. Like, you don't have to pick guest, and that's actually pretty handy. Bad thing is the other player can't earn achievements. The only thing is there's no achievements you can earn in split screen, period. So that's one thing. Split screen is a little bit of a waste of time if you're a completionist. But, you know, that's probably... It'd be nice if there was at least one multiplayer achievement. I don't know. Some people hate that stuff, though. Not for long or not. A boost, Gavin. So you guys, I think it retains most of the detail. There might be a little less detail.
It looks pretty close.
Nice. When I was capturing screenshots, like, they definitely did not look as good, but I don't know if that's just to do with the video or what. So I've just beat him in this race. Now, that took a minute. Now I can pick continue or leave. We pick continue, and what happens? Let's see. It takes us to another course. So this is what I wanted to talk about the split screen not being as good as it should be, is that you have 0 options for split screen. You cannot pick how many laps. You can't pick what course you play. Nothing. All you can do is play the rotation cycle that it gives you. And that's just I don't know, that's, you know, games with multiplayer, it's standard to be able to pick some of these things, especially in a racing game. And so I really wish they would have put a little more time into polishing this mode, because it's good to have the mode. You know, it got them a bullet point. You can say, yes, our game has 6-player split screen, and that's good. But the question is, would you want to play this mode for very long? And the answer is, if you can't pick any options to make the experience like you want, then you probably wouldn't play it very long.
Probably not, no.
Out of bounds? Weak, I was so not out of bounds. That's your chance to catch up, Gavin. And here's a question: Does the second player use the same boat as me? It looks like the same boat because we haven't like bought a new one or anything. But I don't know. And also, that was only 1 lap. We're gonna do one more race, and then we'll switch to single player and wrap things up. See, I thought you guys would feel the same way. And I mean, like, this is still fun. Like, if you had a group of 6 people and you need a 6-player game to play and you don't want to play a Jackbox game, then, you know, this and Beach Buggy Racing are like your only options. And I could see, you know, just with a bunch of people just sitting there playing the track rotation as it comes. But, like, you know, yeah, but, like, say there's only 2 of you. You know, are you gonna... I think that's when things are a little more serious and competitive, and you would want to be able to customize things more.
Yeah, I would say there's probably a lot better two-player split screen experiences.
I don't think it's very likely this would get an update to add new features like that, but if they were to update the game, that's the number one thing that they should fix, is adding some options. Gav, when you're in the air, push 2 directions on the analog sticks and you'll pull off a trick. Yeah, but do it right when you go off the ramp. This is not really fair to him because he's never played it before, and I didn't really explain the controls in depth.
Yeah, the Geek Squad is always a ripoff. Never ever use them. They cost
Good job.
way too much money, and without naming any names, I have worked with somebody who used to work for them, and he knew pretty much nothing.
Yeah, Famicorps, that is a shame that Halo 4 didn't have very good split screen support. They're just not devoting the resources to it in the Halo games like they used to. Local circuit. Guess I'm just gonna have to go back to the very first.
Yeah, I never had problems getting my Xbox 360 repaired when it red ringed on me there, JS.
How many
JS
times did that happen?
Once or twice. Didn't happen too often. But I bought a new 360 when they redesigned it, so it stopped doing that. Well, mostly stopped doing
Same
that.
here. After I switched to the, I don't know, like Falcon or later models, I never had a red ring. My original one did red ring.
Yeah, my original one red ringed, I think twice, and then after that, I bought a new one and then sold it, the old one at GameStop, while it was still working for a pretty good price. They had some sort of deal where you got like $100 on top of whatever they were giving you.
Woo.
And, you know, I used that to buy a PS3, I think.
Not too shabby. I might have just thrown away one of them, or there's at least one that I did trade into GameStop at some point. It wouldn't have been one that didn't work, though, because that would be dishonest. Oh, that's neat. You can do tricks just when you're bouncing in the air. It doesn't even have to be off a ramp. I didn't realize that before. But it's risky.
Yeah, it's risky. You gotta be quick. Well, mine wasn't red ringed when I traded it in, Shih Tzu. They had fixed it and it was working. It felt like it was on its last legs, so you know, the next owner probably didn't get a great deal, but
that was the risk you took buying a used 360. That was it.
Oh, absolutely. I think I bought my next 360 because it came with the HDMI port, and I really wanted that. My split on Xbox One games as far as digital versus physical is probably 70-30 digital versus
on the
physical.
bone.
Most of them are most of them are digital, just because it's so much easier.
Yes, definitely. I have about 10 retail games maybe, and maybe 110 downloadable ones. I have quite a lot of Xbox One games. I was thinking about that earlier. It's crazy, but you know, it's one of the perks.
Well, I just bought Final Fantasy Type 0.
Ooh, first place.
And congratulations. And I downloaded the Final Fantasy 15 demo. Don't ask me to say it. I can't. I don't know how to say it. But I downloaded that demo. Man, is that thing beautiful. Although, man, is it janky. Like in certain scenes, it looks like it drops down to like 15 or 20 frames per second. And that's in the cutscenes. I mean, you think they could have fixed that?
Well, it's only the demo, right? But you know, like come the end of the year when I'm doing my best games of Xbox One roundup, you can trust that I actually have played more games than most people.
That's true.
So you know Toro is going to be right up there at the top. You remember Toro, don't you, Brian?
Yeah. Is this the 10 worst games?
No, yeah, actually it will be on the worst list.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was that was a horrible
And
experience.
probably I'll have to put Spectre on there too, even though Spectre's not a complete train wreck, but it's just not very good.
Well, I mean, I suppose
Because
the music's
yes,
really
but I
good.
mean, like, there's only so many games that are like completely janky, you know. There's, God, Infinity Runner would be another that for the worst list, and Toro, and yeah, I can't think of anything else I liked less than Spectre this year. I mean, besides those two, so far. But you know, when I go over the whole list, I'll look and see. There'll be others.
Yeah, it seems like a lot more people are talking about they have a lot more digital games for their Xbox One.
I'm glad, you guys. We need to support that kind of progress. Although, you know, it is a little bad for retailers. The good thing is, you know, a lot of games are only downloadable, right? And you guys, you know, like more and more people are being cool about that and buying these downloadable titles, like Riptide here. You can't buy Riptide in the store,
Yeah.
so you buy it downloadable, and it's cheap and it's a good deal.
Well, I bought a boatload of Xbox Live Arcade games on the
Good man.
360. Some of the best games on the 360 were actually Xbox Live
Oh,
Arcade only.
absolutely. What was the game? Not Ori and the Blind Forest, but Dust, an Elysian Tale. That's one of my favorites. Also on Steam.
I personally liked Quantum
Ooh,
Conundrum.
never played that one.
Such a good game. It also has John DeLance as the
Oh.
voiceover.
Well, that's a plus.
So,
The voice of Q.
yes. Indeed.
It's like, suck it, Picard. Does he say that? Aw.
No. But it was good. I really like that game.
Who is so-called saying should buy a Wii U? Famicorps? I should also buy a Wii U, and I would like to, but probably not till the price drop. Although,
It is a really good game console. Actually, Nintendo sells them refurbed for
I'm not into the reefer, man.
refurbed. Smartass. They sell them refurbed for I think $250 with 2 games.
Yeah, not a horrible value, but I'm still waiting for 200. Like, I'd rather just buy a PS4 than buy a Wii U for 250.
200's a good mark, and there's a rumor. Well, not a rumor. Nintendo filed a patent that indicates that their next console might be discless. They might go back to
Cartridges?
either cartridges like cards, SD cards, like the Vita, or just digital only with a large
You
hard
know,
drive.
can you imagine Nintendo doing digital only? Like, how much will they screw it up? So much.
Oh, pretty
so
bad,
much.
probably.
The maximum amount of terribleness.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about Nintendo's online system. So I would imagine they're probably going to switch back to cards because flash memory has gotten so cheap lately,
So it has.
and they could do their own proprietary flash memory like Sony did, and
No, use SD cards.
then you prevent. Well, you prevent theft if you make it your own proprietary.
That's
standard.
true.
You could do. Well, I would recommend that they do an internal hard drive rather than, anything else.
Well, they have to have something to sell at retail.
Yeah, the cards would be a good start. I think I saw a 200 gig micro SD card for, $200 or something like that, 250. I wish Sony would use a proprietary standard for their memory cards. I don't care about their game carts. If they use a proprietary standard for that, but their memory cards, they got to stop doing that proprietary thing. It kills me because I can get a 200 gig SD card, 250 gig SD card for the cost of what they want for a 64 gig
Yeah,
Vita card.
it's frustrating.
I just don't understand it. It's
Frustrating.
crazy.
Woo. Yeah, I just want to remind everybody, even if you don't win a code tonight, this game only costs $7 on Xbox One. There are not a lot of games in that price range, and it is a very good game. Like there's things that could be better. It is a mobile port after all, but for $7, you're not going to be disappointed if you enjoy racing games and you don't mind a little bit of grindiness, because you are going to have to replay races a lot.
I mean, they could format the memory card in a specific way, Tyler, that prevents you from copying any data on it if you stick it in a PC. Like, do your own file system, which is what Microsoft did on the original Xbox and the Xbox 360. They made their own file system, so if you plugged it into a PC,
yeah, it was very hackable, though.
Well, the Xbox, the original Xbox definitely was.
But even the 360, you know, like your memory cards, you can stick those files on a PC and do things to them. So I hear.
No experience.
Absolutely
whatsoever.
none.
No, never.
Don't ask me for tips. There he goes. That's better. Ooh, fill up my boost meter so I can do the boosting. Ah, crap. Run right into a wall. That's how I roll.
Jeez.
No, but I didn't crash. I'm having a good time.
Well, isn't that what gaming is all about?
To the yeah. Allegedly. Yep, exactly. So I only came in second, but I did okay, and I probably earned a decent amount of money. I bet I can afford another upgrade now. I'm going to have this thing fully upgraded before I can ever save up for a new vehicle, you know? That's what I see happening.
That's probably the point.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're really stretching thin the amount of content the game actually has, I would say.
The biggest problem is you have to race the same tracks over and over and over.
You can't move
again.
forward in the career mode because you just have to repeat these tracks and earn more money. And, you know, that's a shame. Enjoyed this game too. Once again, this has been Riptide GP2 from Vector Unit. I want to thank Brian for joining me on the mic.
My pleasure.
Tyler, you ran the contest very well. Much appreciated.
Indeed.
Yeah, and
Thank
please
you.
join us again next Saturday, you guys. I don't know if we'll do a midweek stream or not. I would like to, but we'll see. But certainly we'll get back into those pretty soon. Thanks for joining us, guys. Remember, don't hate, appreciate.